When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see, no, I won't be afraid, no, I'll shed a tear just as long as you stand by me, darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand by me. If the sky will fall, should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea,
Tag a friend. Share.
I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me, darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand now, stand by me.
Tag. Share. Do what it takes. I'm going to show you something. Do you want the good news or the bad news first? I won't budge until you tell me good or bad news first. Even if you heard it before. Good or bad news first. Good or bad news first. Please stay here, Kaz. Tag somebody in.
Stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand now, stand by me.
Thank you for being here. I hope you can hear me okay. Tag, share, because tonight's live is done with a difference. It's done like no other. That's right, no other. There's only one of me. But it's definitely done out of respect. What I have to say tonight is out of respect. What I have to say tonight is that you need to listen, because you think that this won't happen to you or your relatives or your family or your friends. I'm going to show you 2 case studies. Let me get it right. 2 cases. I'm going to show you 2 cases tonight. All of you people that call us crazy, I'm going to show you to eat your words. All of you people that say mental health won't happen to you, I'm going to make you eat your words. All of you people that turn your back on people, I'm going to make you eat your words. Eat your words, turn them around, and think of things differently. Because what I'm about to show you is a reflection of me. I get fed up. Who am I? First of all, let me introduce myself, because I actually never really do that. And people actually don't know who I am. So I respect that, think, oh, they know who I am and what I do. But when I talk on here, it comes across that I'm criticised, and people criticise me and say that I need to get myself sorted before I can help anybody else. That's what they say. And I reverse that because I run a program. Program. Yes, that's right, program. Not a cult, a program. And this program that I run is merely off of how I feel. Now, it's off of I feel because of the things that I've encountered over the past in words of a way of where things nearly killed me. And I mean that literally in whatever shape form you want to put that. So when I started this project, my name is Kerry Mussington. I am 50 this year. I am a person that lives with emotionally unstable personality disorder. Short term for that is EUPD. How long have I had it? Majority of my life it was diagnosed. The majority of my life it was diagnosed probably, since 2008. So that's what, over 12 years. So before 12 years, I was mastering many issues of self-harm. Now, self-harm does not necessarily mean cutting, okay? Self-harm can come in many, many ways. Promiscuity as well. You can ask that one as well. It comes in many ways, self-harm. I'm going to tell you throughout this life just exactly. I'm going to show you. And I'd like for you to share this into a group because this is going to affect every single one of you that didn't think the way I think, okay? And you're not going to think the way I think unless you've lived half the stuff that I've lived through, because everybody tells a different story. First, I'm going to show you, nobody said the good or the bad. You want the bad news? The bad news is that, okay, I'm going to read you this one first. And this is my time, so I'm going to take it. And I gladly appreciate your time for what I have to deliver today. This here says Mind Over Matter, and it is a case study. That's right, it's a case study. And it's my case study. And it's one case study that a social worker, that's right, for all these people that tell me that I need to sort myself out before I sort anybody else out, I'm going to tell you, please stop saying that. Okay, I'm in recovery. I'm always going to be in recovery. When you've had sexual abuse, when you've had child abuse, when you've had victimization, when you've had discrimination, okay, when you've had rape, when you've been beaten from pillar to post, when you've been moved from pillar to post, it's going to affect your life, okay? It's not some quick fix you can get over, because the problem that we have here, hello my love, please do share this into your group, because I'm going to give you 2 case studies tonight. I'm going to show you mental health in a different capacity for what it really is. I'll talk about myself, why I decided to start a program. I said program, project, Mind Over Matter project. I was fed up of the system letting me down. I was fed up of going and repeating myself to mental health services to say, can you help me? Can you fix me? Fix me. What was there to fix? To the eye, I look okay, right? It's a mask, but underneath the surface there was things going on. People would not know. Please don't me lose interest. You know, yes, I'm talking about me, but I'm going to bring you 2 case laws. And the reason why I said this was an announcement tonight is because I've been up against some really pretty awful things. Now, it makes you want to, and it tips you over the edge where you no longer want to be here, when you are treated unkindly. It tips you over the edge when you maybe don't have the right correct knowledge to help people out, so you will walk on by. Now, I was quite insulted, and I take feedback as a positive regardless. And when people use the terminology, fix you first, Kerry, before you can help somebody else, I'm going to tell you, you are wrong. Helping somebody else helps you mentally, because the focus is on fixing the problem. Now, the problem, maybe you, me also, maybe have a problem inside, and that is trust. Trust. Who do I trust with my life? Who do I trust to give me the right information to get me out of this hellhole that I am in? So I'm going to deliver the bad news right now. The bad news is that one of these case studies that I'm going to reel off died. That's right, died. They died. In a sense, after reading their story, after understanding and after putting myself right back in there again to deal with agencies, to deal with social services and things like that, and housing, putting myself right back in there again. Only this time what happens here is that these front houses are coming to me. Do you understand? They're coming to me. They're saying, I don't know what to do. Nobody is listening. Nobody is listening. Meanwhile, the victim is suffering. Now, I'm very knowledged, and when I'm very knowledged, I give back. Now, despite my own illness of depression and self-harm, and that can come in many different ways, I stopped cutting. I've replaced the cutting, with talk therapy. That's how I overcome talk therapy. Now, within that talk therapy, people tell me their problems, and they tell me that no one's listening, and they sometimes think it's because of the colour of their skin. But I want to say to you, it's not always the colour of your skin. Because during the line of work that I do in helping people with their mental health and supporting where I can in the issues that are happening, is that it seems to be a lot of people that are on benefits. And I'm going to say that is because there's not a lot of purpose, is there? Because that's your life, isn't it? TV, sitting down. And when things are not right, it has to be changed. But if you're not got a home, or your home is unsuitable, that's going to affect your mental health. How do I know that? Lived experience. How do I know that? I've had 2 case laws thrown at me. And in having 2 case laws thrown at me, that meant I had to find a solution to my problem. Now, I didn't have any help. I had an advocate. I had a few advocates, and I had one main advocate. And if it wasn't for the main advocate, I wouldn't be here. So I learned a lot through watching how people operate and my own mistakes. So I'm going to show you and turn this around right now. I'm going to show you my first case study. My first case study will blow you out of this mind. My second case study will have you with food for thought. So I want your patience, please. And I want you to know that this can happen to anyone. And I'm going to show you something. And then I'm going to give you the end result. All right? It's great news. Right, so bear with me. Here we go. Turning this around. This is when I first started to do my project in 2017. I decided to tell everybody about my disorder.
My name is Kerry. I'm 47 years young and I have 3 adult children whom I raise single-handedly, ages 29, 26 and 23. I also have 3 lovely grandchildren. I was diagnosed in 2008 with emotionally unstable personality disorder, also known as EUPD. Alternative name BUPD, which is borderline personality disorder. I didn't know what the root of it was, or didn't know the cause. I developed many coping mechanisms, and those coping mechanisms would consist of self-harm or suicidal behaviour when times were difficult. I know now the root of that evil was because I was sexually abused. I now know I'm addressing all that now. I'm speaking out about it. I'm good with it. I'm confident that I don't have to hold any secrets anymore. I have put myself at various courses: anger management, self-esteem, clinical behaviour therapy, to try and beat this disorder. Times are very difficult when you've got mental health and you've got the label mental health, because the label mental health is just a label. It doesn't define what the person is going through or what the situation is at the time. that's causing them great difficulty and crisis. And I know that when you're in a crisis with this disorder, it's very dangerous, and there is not enough assistance out there. We all know that it's coming up to the 70th birthday of the NHS, and they're in crisis right now. So, which brings me to my project. To assist the NHS with the crisis, we'd like to work alongside and eliminate some of the problems, alleviate some of the problems, such as the waiting list. So we offer a program that is therapeutic. It gets them to analyse their mind, to change their mindset. It gets them, if they decide to want to address the issues that are causing mental health, then they have the opportunity to do that too. We're able to signpost, we're able to network. We have many people that, even though they have mental health, they are very gifted and very talented, and they know their stuff. So yeah, all areas, we've all got a purpose, and we're willing to share our stories, share our journeys, and come up with a solution.
Okay, so this... This is why. Look at them stairs. Have a look at these one more time. Right, I realise that you can't read a lot of that, okay? My point is that case there that had gone on for 2 years, unsuitable accommodation, and in the fact that was unsuitable accommodation because the stairs were so steep, she is registered partially sighted. Now, within this situation, there was 13 safeguarding elements. I took the lead in this whole case, and I've been doing it for 2 years. 2 years. And that's before I even started this project. I took on this lady and I said, you know what, I've got an idea. I used to do homelessness before. I kind of know what your rights are. And also within my own homeless journey, I knew what my rights were. And what happened to this lady is that I think that, and she hit the paper too. I made sure it hit the paper too. That's right. What happened to this lady, Miss Franks, I'll never forget that lady in the whole of my life, is that in the element of 13 safeguarding referrals and me taking the lead of it, I was saying how she'd already had 2 strokes, how she was already partially sighted, how she could not get out of the house because of the stairs, and we were worried about the fire and the risks. I know people can't be bothered to stay here and listen. It's fine. Please don't send your granny this way if you can't listen. That's just my humour. All right, so seriously, at the end of the day, 2 years, the worst case that I thought that I have actually ever come across. And the fact that thank you for being here, guys. Really, thank you. Like I said, this is case number 1. This was my first case, and I asked if I could use this case as a case study in under discovering why it is that people with mental health that had mental health I'm going to go past tense because that's how we're all looked at in a wrong way, right? So past tense, we're already traumatized and we've already had past issues, and then growing up or coming through life, those issues are still with us. Okay, so we're unbalanced with the way we're being treated in the world, and when we ask something to be changed, it doesn't get changed without having to practically get on your hands and knees and begging for your life. And in this case of this lady, she had to get on her hands and knees, and no one was listening. When people tell me leave it to the professionals, I want to tell you that I can't get any more professional than what I am. I'm raw, I'm honest. I don't care what you have to say about me. I am raw, I'm honest, but I get the job done. Professionals. When I met this lady, she had a professional. Yes, that's right. I was not a professional at the time of meeting this lady. I was an unprofessional person, and she had mental health service, i.e. was already under mental health myself. But I thought, no, I know actually what the problem is here. It's discrimination and it's institutionalised racism. That's one angle I was looking at it. Only basing on it as her case was very similar to my case. So I figured, you know what, I've won my case. I knew they were doing wrong and I won my case. So much so I got compensation. And out of the compensation that I got, please do tag someone in because I'm about to tell you another case in a minute. Out of the compensation that I got, I took my compensation and I put it back and I invested it in myself. And I made a lifeline that nobody will ever feel like I felt, being bypassed on the housing system, being unheard by the social workers, being unheard by the police officers that come to do a welfare check and say, oh, what's up? And then other agencies out there making things up to say that, they've got rent arrears or they've got this and they've got that. Any bloody excuse not to house them or change their circumstances. And that was what was happening with this lady. Now, Miss Franks, I've never ever come across so many safeguarding referrals. If you do not know what a safeguarding referral is, let me educate you what that is for those that don't know. A safeguarding referral means that there is an issue with somebody is suffering, greatly suffering with their situation, with a home or with a health or something, greatly suffering. So much suffering that everybody has to be on the same page. Now, I've had to encounter working with this lady. I put myself on a social enterprise business course. I didn't know what I was doing and I was nervous as hell. Anxiety, the whole works. I'm going to be judged in an educational setting now. Can I muster through an educational setting without crying? Because I go everywhere supported. Because I'm sick and tired of people judging me. And that judgment on my life, my whole entire life, has left me feeling crap about myself. And so therefore, when people talk about us in a certain way, when we need help, they put messages out there to the person about you that are untrue. They use all the excuses, and I say they, I'm talking about when you need something from a service or something like that. They put so many messages out there. Hi, darling, please do share and come in. Brilliant that you're here for this news. Brilliant, because it's another news. They put so many elements in the way that people stop listening. They don't have the one-on-one. So everything gets lost in transaction when dealing with somebody. With 13 safeguarding elements, police, myself first of all, to raise an issue, because when she came to me, she had a mental health worker that just signed her off. So when they signed her off, they still left her in the position that she was in. 2 years later, that's right, 2 years later, I've had to fight so hard with it to get this lady's voice heard. It's been unreal. Did it affect my health? Of course it affected my health. It's going to affect anyone's health. The level of commitment it will take for one individual alone. The level of commitment for one individual. So that's right, from one nut to another nut, and we like to say that sometimes because that's what we've been called many of the times. So one nut through another one, it's almost like radar. I understand the language. What is it she needs? She doesn't have to say any more upon listening to what she had to say. I listened, she said they weren't listening. She was in stairs, a house full of stairs, and that disability that you saw was horrendous. 13 issues and 13 safeguarding referrals. From the police, from the social care, from the occupational therapists, from the blind aid, from the stroke association, from the housing, from the safeguarding managers. Need I go on? Prevention side, need I go on? There's all these things that I had to deal with, including Linkline. When there's an issue, they will call me. It don't matter what I'm doing during my day, whether I'm off or not off. It don't matter. I'm at home, they'll call me. Now, did my mental health suffer? Of course. You know why? Because one, I was trying to hold her up. I was trying to hold her up. I was trying to hold myself up too. I was just somebody who was living through it with emotionally unstable personality disorder. Doesn't feel like it, does it? Doesn't look like it to you, does it? Right. What does that mean? It means sometimes when I'm treated cruelly, or when I'm named called or picked on or called a liar, it triggers me. And those triggers, I'll be hell-bent if I go backwards in life. So I decided to go forward. So when hearing this lady and her problems, I met with her and I said to her, let's have a look. Because it sounds very similar to what I've been through. Let's see what I can do for you. What you'll need to do is give me permission to talk on your behalf. Well, I haven't stopped talking since. It's been 2 years. But you know, the thing is about this, that they all said, all of these agencies came to me and let me take the lead in this, because some of those agencies are not accustomed to housing. They're not accustomed to the rights. Some people that work in departments are only there to probably read a piece of paper. And when they're reading off of a piece of paper, they actually don't know the person personally or the issues. So I made that video that you see. I made a video. I'm just going to finish it. I'm going to turn it around. And the reason I made this video is that when people come around and people can't speak and they're visually impaired and they've got a speech impediment as well, is that somehow we need to show what it is, what the issue is. And I had to show that, no, it's not a matter of the girl's got mental health. It's a matter of these issues that she's faced with in the past have caused it and created an imbalance. Not to mention contracting viral meningitis. Hi, Dwayne, I'll speak to you in a minute. Not to mention contracting viral meningitis and then having 2 strokes. Now, it got so stressful where we thought at one stage maybe, you know, they got water coming in. Will they fall down these big bloody stairs? And will they have My thing is, how do I balance a stroke and how do I balance mental health? That's what I had to balance, both. And nobody else was seeing that. They see the word mental health, they don't see that. I'm balancing stroke, which is caused by stress and depression and everything else. I am balancing that and balancing mental ill health. What's causing the depression? Everything. Not being listened to. Being stuck in an unsuitable accommodation. Not being able to get out. Do you know the lady sat for 2 summers on a trot, sitting on a windowsill while everybody was having fun outside because unable to come out of the home? That's right. I don't want to hear another person tell me to act professional in my entire life. I made it. I made a company. This is my logo. That's right. It stands for when people are down, I will help them up until they get their flight back. And I will stay until if they are committed to show up for that therapy, that no matter how much that this system will beat you down, as long as you hold my hand, I will carry on holding yours until your solution is resolved. That's what I do. And along the way, while it's resolved, I'm going to give you a network of people that will support you and become friends with you and understand you. And so therefore, they're actually in the same boat as you, trying to stay alive each day. That's me. I've got makeup on. It's fake. Fake bake. Because for the past week, I've been subdued, full of anxiety, and taken a step back. But I've come back today to tell you that after 2 years, I'm going to finish this video. And then I'm going to tell you something. Then I'm telling you. So let me finish this. This is what I got her out of. And she was a willing participant to let me use every single material and educate. Educate those that don't want to be educated. Educate those people that keep saying mental health. I've got mental health. No, you've got an issue. Let's find out what those issues are and deal with those issues. When you can deal with those issues, you can start eliminating and starting to live some of the normal life. Mine 2 years ago in 2016, 2014 to 2020 was horrendous. The issues to my mental health, people weren't listening, mistreating me, looking at me like I'm a nut, and at the end of the day, all I wanted to say is, you're not bloody listening. Listen to me. Give me a minute. Give me an hour. Now, that's what I did with this lady. She gave me time, and I needed to understand. And I documented it the whole way. She made Lewisham paper. That's right. Have a look. Miss Sadia Franks. She made Lewisham newspaper because of the amount of safeguarding referrals. Yes, my name is in there as well, because that tells you I took the lead. Now, I'm going to finish the video and then I'm going to turn it around and deliver what I need to deliver for anybody that tells me I do not know what I'm doing. I can still be a nut and still get the job done. So let me turn this around and finish the video. So, stress is to be avoided not only because of the mental health, but a prevention of the third stroke due to health and safety. Mind Over Matter has raised awareness. No, Kerry raised awareness. And then Kerry, with Miss Franks' help, has helped me build the Mind Over Matter project by her dedication to raising awareness and being part of the mom. So we've built a network around us. We are the mom. Simple. Mind Over Matter. So let me turn that and get on with it. Nobody should suffer in silence. Housebound, isolation, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, fibromyalgia, osteoporosis, rigid blind, migraines, suicidal behaviour, these numbers, strokes, sleep impediments, brain damage, you know? Let's stamp that stigma out to that. I'm dedicated to raising awareness of mental health, and Sadia is, and Dave is, and let me, the list is endless, and Lisa is, and the list is endless. Now, over me. Look at that. Permission. That's right. Right. I'm so excited to tell you that today my girl got her keys to her accommodation. Finally free from that pit of a home that was unsuitable, that was infested with mice also. You could not possibly get a Zimmer frame down those stairs, up those stairs. You could not get a wheelchair down those stairs, up those stairs, let alone a bag of shopping. My girl used to have to sit on her bum, chuck down and get down the bottom of the stairs, only to struggle to face another heap of stairs. And my girl got her keys today. And we here in the background, away from Facebook, the mom group has been absolutely over the moon to celebrate that news today. Kerry Mussington, I'm really proud of you. As you look at your reflection on this, Kerry Mussington, your dedication to sticking by somebody through thick and thin, no matter what, and no matter even if the system, whilst I was helping, looked at me as a desperate woman trying to save this woman's life. They said, I understand, and it's overwhelming. No, you don't, because you wasn't here 24/7, 7 days a week. You could do your pieces of paper and then go home. I could never go home. I could never switch off when she was suffering. I could never go to bed and rest easily when I knew somebody was suffering. I couldn't do it. I stayed until the end as I promised. And I stayed to the end because I promised. And I made that promise. To me, more than anything, can you stick it out when times are rough, knowing somebody's suffering? Well, I've watched homelessness. I've seen people come off of heroin. I've seen people come off of alcohol since being on my program, since being on my method, my brain thought, my thoughts, food for thought, in how to operate and how to deal with the outside world. It works. It's keeping people alive. And if people want to try and stifle my voice, that lady that you just saw, she wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. People that you are on here and the platform that you are on right now, yeah, that's the one that I provided. That's right. I provided. And I provided that lifeline based on my own real life incidences, my real life battles. And when I talk, people think, who is she? Well, know my name. Hear my name. And don't you forget it. Because although I live with emotionally unstable personality disorder, although I nearly tried to kill myself numerous times, I'm here to tell you that I understand your behaviours all too well. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. The tantrums, the discipline, the rejection, the pushing out, the shutting down, the duvet days, the friends, the not friends. I know it all. I know most of it. One of the things that I don't get, because it doesn't happen to me, is voices. That's one of the things that I don't get. I get the chip on the shoulder that tells me that I'm not good enough, only after I've heard it firsthand off of somebody else to tell me I'm not good enough. You know, and with this lady, she was been told she wasn't good enough all of her life. I'm telling you, and I'm going to tell my members that you are beautiful people. And don't let anyone knock you down. Never. She got her keys today. It's confirmed, signed, sealed, and delivered. She can move on now to another chapter. She can rest herself and live the rest of her days peaceful and content. I am only sorry, the only thing I regret is that she suffered a third stroke. Yes, due to the level of stress and the ignorance of some people. That just takes so bloody long doing things, that's all. It just takes so long. I understand that people do try their best in the positions that they are in. And I understand that sometimes their hands are tied. And I think the thing with me is creating my own company, thanks to Miss Franks as well, and all of my dedicated, committed members. And they're like brothers and sisters to me now. Because they get me and I get them. And even though they understand that I'm in a position of doing something, they actually know that I'm just like them. normal, but I'm trying my best to survive this ugly world and the criticism around me and for the things that I do. So that was the good news. Well done and congratulations, Miss Franks. I think we should tell Lewisham Paper that they finally handed you the keys to accommodation and your new home. And I hope that you'll be very, very, very settled in your new home. We cannot wait to celebrate. You see, all that time that she was in, what people don't understand is when you're on a homeless journey, and that doesn't mean that you need to be out of on the streets. It means sometimes the home is unsuitable, but when you're on a homeless journey, you can't go on holidays, you can't even leave. When you're bidding and things like that, you can't go nowhere, because at the end of the day, you never know when they're going to call you for a viewing or nothing like that. Now, I spent almost a year doing that, a year and a bit doing that for myself. This lady has spent 2 years. There was another person that I helped. I won't mention the name. It was a male. Their story is called No Goodbyes. You'll find that on the website, which is www.mom.project.co.uk. It's called No Goodbyes. That was a homeless person. Seems like so far when it comes to the homeless, I'm not going to say that it's all my colour, but it is a lot more colour orientated and mental health orientated around homelessness, around housing and social care, and even the police, to be honest. When you're on benefits or when you're on low income because of your disabilities, you are looked at differently, you are treated differently, and you certainly are a tick box. And it's that tick box. I want you guys to understand that you may want to look for people to blame within this situation. But if you don't come together on the same page, yes, you're going to be at blame here, But when you are in a capacity of trying to do something for someone, I understand that. Sometimes you're going to go home with issues like what I've had to deal with here. Whether or not you rest, it's up to you. Your conscience is yours when you're in a position of power, when you're in a position of employment, when you're in a position full stop, and you're dealing with other people, your conscience is yours, and just how much you really will help them, whether it's money orientated or whether it's because you really are dedicated to helping that person. During my project, helping that person, it was never ever money orientated, except for that all I ever asked was for people, if you could help me, that's right, if you could help me help others, I'd be gladly appreciated. And and I did ask for donations, because when you're helping people, they want bloody insurance. That's £400 and something pound, and again, I sit here, somebody criticised, you're on benefits. How can you work and be on benefits? The criticism is absolutely unbelievable. I have emotionally unstable personality disorder. I do my best with what I have. Okay? But it doesn't mean I'm stupid. It doesn't mean I don't have any knowledge. And it doesn't mean that if I want to help people, yes, unfortunately, the government say, have a stamp. They do, but you can do it without it. I started off doing a project without... When I first started off the homelessness, I had no stamp, but I had no respect from the agencies that wanted to deal with them. So it made it harder for me to get these people's voices heard. So this is what my aim was. During my relapse, I applied for college. No, an entrepreneur business course, and it said I had to go to Dragon's Den and do an interview and all of those things. And I had to do step by step, and I was nervous, but I'd done it. I had my hand held, and I'd done it. Anything I didn't understand, I asked. I'd done it. I was willing to change the behaviour that I learned in order that when things are difficult, commit suicide. That was the attitude I had. I've changed the attitude now. When things are difficult, speak out. When things are upsetting you, speak out. Don't hold nothing back. If you're feeling wobbly and you don't want to be here, don't worry about upsetting somebody or reputation. You've got to understand at the end of the day, why are you upset in the first place? Don't worry about none of that. It has to go out the window. For me, it's a matter of life and death when you are feeling suicidal. It's life and death, and that situation has to change. Now, I have to explain something to you guys. about mental health. And I'm going to put it in a way where you're going to relate to this. If you've got alcoholics, they're going to reach to the bottle, and that they want to try and avoid that at every level. But they still do when things are rough, and they just mask over what they're going through. There's no different to a self-harmer. So instead of having an AA, here you got a SH, self-harmer. And every now and again, it's like you want to reach for that self-harm element of it. And we have to avoid that, guys. It's no different to an alcoholic, do you understand? Reaching for the bottle or reaching for the self-harm element. You don't want to be reaching for the self-harm element of it, okay? Because that's going to do some serious damage, leave scars, cause internal problems, maybe prevent even, there's a lot of things it can actually do affect your body emotionally and mentally and physically. Okay, so talk therapy is the only way that you can overcome, because if you don't talk, nobody can help you with your problems. And just like Sadia, if she didn't speak out, or I didn't have that sixth sense to step in and give back knowledge I actually really had, she wouldn't be here. Because they wasn't listening. And they wasn't listening to me for a long time until I said, you know what, I've gone through the ombudsman, I've gone through all of these agencies and all of these services, and they're not listening to her. They're listening to her. It was the housing that wasn't. And I find that housing could do their legislation better. I feel that housing had so many red flags, and so does social care. Social care has too many red flags. I writ all those red flags down through my educational journey of what's going wrong within the system. And I realised that they could do with an education of mental health and mental ill health and disabilities, for they only push out paper. That's case number 1. Will you stand by me for case number 2? The most horrific case I have ever come across. Ipswich woman. Ipswich, Suffolk woman is thrown from pillar to post. That's all right. I'm now about to give you the other case study, and you can always rewind. And I want you to it's always for educational purposes. All right. So case study number 2. Thank you for listening to Miss Frank's story. Thank you, Sadia Franks, for your case study. I really do appreciate your case study. And I'm glad that you're a part of Team Mom. Fly those wings, babe. Right, so here we go, case study number 2, Kerry Mussington. Shall I leave this one here and come back in so it's case study number 1? Or shall I carry on? Which one? Shall I put 2 here? Yeah. Shall I? Or shall I come back and do another segment? That way you can share. Can someone please give me advice here? I'm asking for an opinion. Shall I continue with case number 2 or come back in live? I think I'm going to come back with case number 2 and give myself more time on the internet. If you will tune in, I would appreciate it. If you will tag a friend in it, this one here will make you wet your pants. So this one here, you'll see something in this story because I've written it out. You want me to carry on? Okay. Introduction, case 2. Thank you for your comment. Appreciate that, Dave. Young Dave. Do you know what? I start to actually really understand people that understand me. And I actually start to realise just how cruel that the people in my life have been treated. And I'm not prepared to allow anyone to sink. One fall, we all fall. Right, our aim is to prevent suicide and offer support and advice to those that are struggling with mental health difficulties. This involves promoting awareness and education of the major issues associated. No, Dave, actually, I'm not. I'm just going to end this one. Sorry. Promoting awareness and education of the major issues associated with mental health, such as self-harm, suicide-related behaviour, drug and alcohol abuse, criminal behaviour, neglect, not forgetting, isolation, impulsive behaviour, which in extreme cases can result in suicide. They're just some of the unhealthy coping strategies that affect mental health, and understanding the disorder and regulating, listen to the words, regulating and controlling emotions is key to well-being, and understanding the triggers. You see, you hear them with the words, triggers. And the other day I said that my trigger was I didn't like being called a liar, and I was called a liar over and over again during a live, and I was just livid. And I said it was a trigger for me. What does a trigger mean for me? Yes, I have to learn to master through those triggers, but it didn't stop me feeling worthless. That was the aim. When somebody bullies you, it's to make you feel worthless. And they do a good job sometimes. Enough to make me say, you know what, I don't want to do this, what I'm doing anymore. Because it's, I say at the time, when I'm being, well, I consist of being bullied a little bit and being called a liar and shamed. I think to myself, I get to the point where I now have to keep proving exactly my worth. Although you'll say I don't, I'm going to tell you I do. And the reason why I do is because I want to, and I have a choice to prove my worth. So this is case number 2. The most awful case I have ever come across in Suffolk. That's right. So if Ipswich Star is listening, Ipswich newspaper or the Sun newspaper, because we do know that she's on there. She watches sometimes. You know, we do have media on the Mom Project. They watch, but they just sit back. They don't say nothing sometimes. You know, that's right. They take what they want, but they don't take what's important. So sometimes you have to shout what's important around here. So here we go. All sectors have been involved with this case number 2. Who is involved with this case number 2? Police involvement to abide by safeguarding regulations. The mental health unit, yes, in Suffolk, and a mental health to abide by those safeguarding regulations as well. The housing have a legal duty and safeguarding also, and entitled to an independent advocate and victim support from housing. Did you hear that? You are entitled, if you are vulnerable, you are entitled to independent advocate and victim support from housing. That's right. Procedure. The procedures are to work together under the protection and prevention of vulnerable adults under the Care Act 2010 and the Homeless Legislation 1996. So a care package is needed, or therapy. Well, yeah, that's me. I always provide a care package. To promote good health and well-being, a place of safety, which is shelter, and a review of medication. Support daily until client is unable to recover. Sorry, I'll get that right. To support them daily until client is able to recover stability. Now, can you understand why it took me 2 years to stay with this person until their house was resolved? That was case number 1. I'm now telling you about case number 2. This one's going to blow your head off. All right. So, and I'm sorry if there's going to be some triggers here and it shouldn't be too deep. I'll try and master some of it, okay? But we do have to muster for these triggers regardless. Right. Support daily until client is able to recover stability, to be a part of the community, to work with their family, who may also need to understand and recognise mental ill health and rape, and understand rape. This experience can be very traumatic for all parties involved, including those whom are giving the care. That's right. This can affect anyone. Those that even adore you, want to help you, it affects their mental health as well, because they just want to help sometimes. We all have a duty to staff and to the client to see that people in the community are not neglected for good practice and good health and well-being, to prevent further risk and to prevent harm. Right, here we go. Person at risk of harm, neglect and the rights to care and support. Oh gosh. Are you ready for this, poor female? This is a case study. So you people that think it's about mental health, I'm going to teach you a very valuable lesson right now. So the lady was born in 1956. What age is that? Another 40 years. 60, that would make her 64. Yeah. Right. I'm giving you a chronological events of history of mental illness, which diagnosis of bipolar. You see, you have to learn bipolar, including a rape victim, health deterioration further over the last year, and needs medical and housing intervention urgently. Now, I had a social worker come to me and say, could I possibly help them understand the mental health side of things? And they were at their wits' end. It's asking me to reconnect, and so I am gonna, because I've been on here an hour. If you want this case, tune back in. So I'm coming back with the whole case as it is, reality of it. Is it boring? No, you need to know. You need to know. This is about a 65-year-old that was hung out to dry. So please tune back in. I'm coming right back. Thank you.